Movement says it rejects the findings by the acting Public Protector Kholeka Gcaleka. Gcaleka has found President Cyril Ramaphosa did not violate the ethics code in his dealings at his Phala Phala farm. She says there is no risk of a conflict between his constitutional duties and obligations and his private interests. The ATM says her judgment is flawed and that the president is certainly guilty of a series of crimes. To unpack this further, I'm now joined by the president of the ATM, Vuyo Zungula. Thank you so much, Mr. Zungula, for coming into studio this evening. So the African Transformation Movement categorically rejects the legally unsound report, using words from your media release there. You raise a number of issues that you feel the president should be held criminally liable. Some of them are the very basic principles that the public protector would have looked into to make the findings in her report. Do you not think that she's considered those issues? You say in your press statement that you're unsure how she might have missed them.
Look, we've read the report and there's a lot of contradictions. There's a lot of spaces whereby the blame is shifted to any other person besides the political principal. Because let us remember, Mr. Ramaphosa is a political principal. It is him that is an executive officer. It is not Mr. Wally Rode that reported the crime to him, to Mr. Ramaphosa. It is Mr. Ramaphosa that informed Wally Rode that there has been a crime, therefore this is the instruction that you must go and investigate. What we are saying is the ATM number one, on the issue of the violation because of PRECA, because it did not report. PRECA Section 34E of PRECA stipulates the people that ought to report a crime or a theft above 100,000 rands. And amongst the listed individuals there, it is a member of a close corporation. Now, Phala Phala is a trading name, but the close corporation there's only one sole member, which is Mr. Ramaphosa, meaning in accordance to Section 34E of PRECA, he was supposed to report that particular crime to the directorate, not just any police official. That is one. The second issue is that the Public Protector says there is no evidence of active involvement of the president in terms of that farm, whereas the president himself says in a conference in Limpopo that he is a farmer, he is actively involved in the sale of animals. When he responds to the independent panel, he further reiterates that he knows the potential buyers from Middle East and Africa. He is the one that gave instruction for money to be used from one point to another. Again, he's the one that was responsible for detailing which animals must be sold. Therefore, on that part, it is something that is nonsensical in our view to have an acting public protector to say there is no record or evidence of active involvement on the side of a president, whereas the evidence is there, even in his own mouth. Mr. Ramaphosa does stipulate. So it is our view as the ATM, the report it is legally unsound, and it is a mockery to the intention of creating a Chapter 9 institution of a public protector, because that Chapter 9 institution ought to protect any abuse of power from the side of politicians because of their political power, who are going to be mighty and powerful. But we've got a case here whereby each and every person will be blamed except the political principal, which is Mr. Ramaphosa.
So it's quite a technical point, the issue of being directly involved in the running of Phala Phala. And I think the point raised by the acting public protector is that he's not a salaried employee. He has a company and there are financial interests. Do you think that's enough of a differentiation there?
Look, if you read the report on the Section 89 panel, it makes a distinction, or it does stipulate that there is no way in which a person can actively run a business and that person is allowed to run a business. And a person that is a salaried employee is prohibited from being a salaried employee. The intention there it is also included in the report of the Public Protector, is to ensure that you don't have members of cabinet that will have divided attention, in the sense that on one side they are supposed to be effecting their duties as public representatives, but on the other side they are actively running a business, or a person is actively employed somewhere. Now, if you look at the conduct of the president, number one, he does go even to auctions, whereby he leads an auction, meaning his attention is divided between Phala Phala and his role as a president of the country. And for him to say that he knows of potential buyers from Africa and some other countries in the Middle East, meaning when he goes there on in his state capacity, he is also engaging in paid work because he's actively seeking buyers. That is why he's able to say he knows buyers.
Surely the president has people to actively seek buyers for him. You don't think, I mean, while he has said that he could speak to buyers on occasion, you don't think he's the one actually sourcing buyers for his cattle?
Look, on that response that he, as a president, gave to the Section 89 independent panel, it is him that is informing the general manager. It is not the general manager that is telling the president that they are buyers, because in accordance to what the Public Protector is saying, that it is a general manager that ought to have known, ought to have reported, ought to have managed the day-to-day operations. But what we see actively, or in terms of the evidence, we see a president that is informing the general manager of the potential buyers. It is a president that is informing the general manager on which animals to be sold, and also where the money should be kept. Therefore, the evidence is there that is actively involved in the day-to-day operations, of which it is something that no one could understand how the Public Protector acknowledges this, but when the time comes for her to make a finding, the finding is somewhat in contradiction to all of the evidence she's also highlighted.
I'm going to come back to that finding in a moment, but I want to talk about SARS and the South African Reserve Bank specifically. You also mentioned those. The Public Protector saying those two institutions do not fall within her ambit. They will have to report on their own. Are you approaching them to see, are they still going to push the issue?
Look, when it comes to the Reserve Bank has already commented, because there was a letter written by the governor of the Reserve Bank asking Mr. Ramaphosa what was the source of those foreign currencies. The fact that in 2022, the Reserve Bank is asking a person of a potential, say, or asking for the information relating to a currency that was brought into the country in 2020, clearly means that the regulations that stipulates that foreign currencies must be declared and banked within 30 days. It means they were not aware. SARS has also come out to say they were not, that money that was brought into the country was not declared to SARS. Therefore, we've got SARS, we've got the Reserve Bank that is afraid to openly state that the president might have committed wrongdoing. And what the people need to understand here is that it is only the independent panel that has come out independently and objectively to say there may have been wrongdoing. Your SARS, your Reserve Bank, the Hawks, they are even afraid to state that Mr. Ramaphosa is under investigation.
Do you think the Public Protector has whitewashed or gone out specifically with the intention of exonerating the president?
The evidence is there, because that is why you are saying you can't have a president that in his own words saying he is selling animals, and the Deputy Public Protector says in a finding that there is no evidence of the president being actively involved in the day-to-day operations. So the point I'm getting at here is that you've got institutions that are dependent on the president, which is the Deputy Public Protector. People who when they want to grow in terms of their careers, they are dependent on this political principle, which is Mr. Ramaphosa. Now, it is a common fact that Advocate Gcaleka might have been persuaded because she wants to be the next public protector, and the president of the country
You're actually calling her corrupt.
The president of the country, which is the same president of the ANC, is the one that has a greater say in terms of who gets to be appointed as a public protector, because it is his organization that has got the majority to decide. So it is our view as the ATM that when this report is taken on legal scrutiny, because we are going to review the report, this report will not survive, because there is no way the judges can actually say a person in his own right that is saying that is actively running a business, and then you are going to say, in fact, the person, which is Mr. Ramaphosa, confesses that he's running a business, but the Deputy Public Protector saying there's no evidence of him running a business.
ATM is going to be taking this matter on review. Thank you very much for speaking to us. That was the President of the African Transformation Movement, Vuyo Zungula.